public high school where you've participated in a biology class. Okay, so quite a few of you. Chances are that in that biology class you were taught the theory of macroevolution, and you were also taught that it is basically the form to explain why all things have adapted to the current status that they are now, how they have matured from a simpler life form into a more complicated life form. And you've most likely been taught that it is the only true scientific research. However, I believe that the macroevolutionary theory should be taught as a theory and not a fact because of the evidence that relates to it, which is highly flawed and lacks a lot of basically support for the theory. This is research that, first off, I love biology, so this is a topic that I've enjoyed studying, but also I've conducted a lot of research on this while I was preparing for this presentation. It's important to scrutinize all scientific data in order to understand that what we're actually being told is backed up by factual evidence. In this presentation, I'm going to go over basically the problems with three supporting evidences for macroevolution: Archaeopteryx, Lucy, and the Neanderthals. Okay. So Charles Darwin, who's known as Father of Evolution in The Origin of Species, believed that as science got more and more advanced, you would expect to find more and more intermediate links. He noted that, as by the theory, innumerable transitional forms must have existed. Why do we not find them in countless numbers in the crust of the earth? Science has advanced greatly since this time, in which his book was written in about the 1850s. So we have come a long way since then, and we still have not discovered a large amount of intermediate links. It may also be urged that when several closely allied species inhabit the same area of territory, we surely ought to find, at the present time, many transitional forms. However, we don't. Let me see here. Macroevolution, this is its biggest problem because it experiences a lack of intermediate links. However, Lucy is frequently cited as the main kind of poster child for this theory. This is Lucy's skeleton. It may appear to be greatly basically unfully intact. However, it is actually a rather complete skeleton according to Dr. J. Weil. As you can notice, Lucy's jawbone is in a V shape, which is very characteristic of that of apes. Also, according to research, they believe that the eardrums of several other examples within this genome were supported that the animal would not have been comfortable walking upright because its stability would not have supported it. Rather, it would have been more comfortable standing on all fours, much like an ape. They also noted that its hands would have been more adapted to the knuckles of like the ape species. Okay, this is an image of Archaeopteryx as Dylan showed you. Archaeopteryx is believed to be an intermediate link between lizards or reptiles and birds. The reason evolutionists believe this is that, as you can see, it has claws and teeth. However, the problem with this theory is that we're assuming that birds have always looked the way that they do now. Evidence against this is that Archaeopteryx most likely had very good eyesight, which allowed it to be very successful in the air while it was hunting for prey. Also, its head would have given it the ability to have stability while flying, which is generally not supported in lizards and creatures like that. Finally, its bones were hollow, which is not supported by lizards basically generating into birds. Finally, this is another quote by a macroevolutionist. According to Darwin, the fossil record should be rife with examples of transitional forms, leading from less evolved to more evolved. Instead of filling the gaps in the record with so-called missing links, most paleontologists found themselves facing a situation in which there were only gaps in the fossil record, with no evidence of transitional forms between documented fossil species. This guy's a macroevolutionist, and he has found through his research that there is a lack of intermediate links. Finally, Neanderthals. We believe that Neanderthals, and many scientists believe that Neanderthals were not intermediate links, but rather a separate group of humans as a tribe that existed in Germany, much like other natives existed throughout the world after they migrated to their area of location. As you can notice, the bone structure is very similar to that of the human, especially in the rib cage and the bone dimensions. body. Also, you notice that most evolutionists have pictured Neanderthals as having a rather sloped and curved face throughout recreations and drawings. Finally, you can see that the heads are very similar. In conclusion, I've demonstrated a few of the examples of why evolution is flawed and why supporting evidence is flawed. We have gone over the problems that are encountered with Archaeopteryx, Lucy, and Neanderthals. Finally, it is important to scrutinize all scientific evidence in order to ensure that it is backed up by strong supporting data. If you can understand this and adapt this theory, you will then be able to understand scientific conversation and adapt to all of them.